be handled by Lodrick Wabwire Odo. He's one of the TQRS members that have been helping to coordinate the section from last year, mostly in data analysis and data organization, and especially in Atlas.ti, because he's a trainer. So the theme for today is Atlas.ti Masterclass Part 3. Because we've had a part 1, we've had a part 2, and this is a part 3. So this is like a refreshers section from foundations to applied analysis for manual coding and AI-assisted coding as well. So you're all welcome. So before I hand over to Lodrick, if you've just joined in, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat box, and then we'll begin. So over to you, Lodrick. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Hugo. I think I'm not going to introduce myself. You've done the introduction already. Today I just wanted people to see my face online. It's the first time I always don't share it. But thank you again for making time to be part of this session. I know sometimes we have fixed programs. Yes. Before I think we could start, I would like to just show by the show of hands. Hugo, you'll help me to see hands. How many of us have participated in both the first session and the second one? Then to give me the guidance on how we start. Of course, if we have majority who are here but they were in the previous one, then it will be easier. If most of them missed, then yeah, I will see how to incorporate even those ones who missed if there are many. Yeah. So please, just request by the show of hands how many missed the first session and the second one, or if we are new here, for if you are seeing you are participating specific in my session for the first time. I think, Hugo, you're helping me to assess the hands. All right. Thank you so much again. I've seen that we have some that participated, but majority seems to have missed both. Um, of course, before we begin, I'll request that as I'm giving a brief introduction about AtlasTI, I'll just request that we get some few minutes, like I think it will take us 10 minutes to all of us download the software. So please, I prefer having a hands-on session than the theoretical one, because we learn nothing when it's theory. So I'll request that we download the software. If you did download last time in the previous 2 sessions, and currently the license expired or the trial version expired, I would, if possible, you could, I don't know, but you could use another account just to log in, because again, I feel to be better if this is the practical session more than just the theory one. So I will go. I think you help me to monitor again. Let's have, by the time we begin the practical one, I believe that all of us we shall be having that the downloaded version. I think that's clear. All right.
Yes.
Thank you once again, and good evening, afternoon, and good morning from wherever we are joining from. My name is Lodrick Wabwire Odo, and it's my pleasure again to be here today. Yes, this is the third session on AtlasTI, and we shall be covering the following. I don't have a presentation because this is a practical session, so I'll not present anything, but we shall be doing it practically. However, I'm going just to give this is the session structure, where I'll just give briefly the recap of what we covered last time in both 2 sessions. Then from there, we shall see on how we do codebook development, or mainly we shall discuss on the codebook. Then we shall do both manual coding and its workflow. Then after that, we shall also try the AI assisted coding. And after that, we shall do shall see, compare the result and see how both looks like. I know we have less time to do all that, but I believe we shall manage. Then, as Ugo said, we are also going to have the Q&A session where you colleagues, you will ask questions. However, even before the Q&A sessions, those ones who participated in the two previous sessions, I'm sure you are aware that our sessions are always interact. When you see us leaving you behind, you just raise up the hand, ask over that, yes, I've missed this because we don't want to leave you behind. This is why we are here to have, we need to leave a session when we have something that we learned. Allow me to briefly just talk about Atlas TI. I'm sure we've all heard and we know what AtlasTI is. And as you know, it's a very powerful and a versatile toolkit for the qualitative analysis of large volume of textual, graphical, audio, and video data. And it supports systematic approaches to unstructured data, offering one, the code management and organized data, annotate data segments, visualize relationship, extract and compare insights. Yes, as like other softwares, Atlas TI enables us to deeply explore complex phenomena using creativity, yet rigorous methodology. Of course, while using Atlas, it's not a software that helps us just to code, but also, of course, we also apply our knowledge. We are the ones behind the programming for it, but it helps us to group our code. Previously, we did cover a lot, those ones who attended the previous two sessions, and we managed to cover both some of the key themes on Atlas TI. We went through the visualization part of it. We also looked at mainly what the entire interface of Atlas is and what each does. So I think this one will be mainly just to do mainly coding, and we look at how everything works. So allow me to share my screen as I'll be talking. Um, yes, I'm just sharing my screen here. And please confirm if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen. Yes.
All right, thank you. Um, Following what we covered last time, and like I said, this time we are mainly going to do the practical session. But before we begin, I want to give key things that we shall be talking about. One, you'll hear more what something we call codes. You will hear more of things of inductive coding, deductive coding. You will hear more things like in vivo coding. Allow me to just briefly talk through them. When we talk about a code, we mean anything or something you attach to a specific element. Or a code mainly capture an idea, issue, or action. So mainly that's a code. And also we have what we call code groups. These are related to codes that seem to talk about a similar thing. Then again, we also have something we call the theme. These are larger interpretation of the idea that made the code are representing. And we explain the patterns in the data and help us and approaches. As we've said that we're going to talk mainly about coding, code book. Before we do data collection, first of all, Ugo, did you share the first book that I shared?
Yeah, let me do it now. 1 minute.
Yes, please. You
Yeah.
share. I want to also share mine, and
Okay.
we start working through as I talk about the codes. So I'm going to those ones who participated. I'm going to create a new project. I'm not going to use the project that we started, and I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. Yes, I'm going to create I think I'll just call them, this is demo 3. This is about SRH topic, SRH study. We are going to use the same thing that, same process that we used last time. This will help us to move faster, but also to incorporate even those ones, or to help those ones who have just joined also to come in. This is SRS session. Of course, like we said, when you're creating a new project, you give the project name, then the comment. Depending on the study you're doing, the trust we are using the way on a sexual productive health study that was conducted in Uganda to assess the barriers that affect young people with disabilities to access sexual reproductive health services. So I could have named that study here, but I just wanted to simplify to name it Demo 3. So I'll create a project. After creating a project, I will straightly go to uploading my documents. Colleagues, if you just join and it's your first time to see AtlasTI, again, I will make sure that at least you live when you know how to create a project, and also after creating a project, what next. So I think our project has been created, as you see demo 3. So what we need to do is to add the documents. Hugo, have you already shared? I just want us to
Um,
move on the same page.
yeah, Lodrick, we have a hand raised. Ginika, please, what's the issue? Ginika Chukwu, your hand is raised.
Yes, please.
Hello, Ginika.
Good
Ginika,
afternoon, sir.
yes, please. Yes.
I just wanted to ask a question, but I was waiting till when he's done.
Okay, all right. No problem. Yeah.
What's the
Yeah,
question?
please carry on. No, he said during question and answer section.
All right, sure. That's fine. Yes,
Yes.
so
And I've uploaded the files.
all right, so colleagues, let's
Yes.
utilize the next 5 minutes to upload. If you don't have Atlas TI, please download the software, use the trial version so that we move on the same pace. It's better when you're trying it physically or manually when you're doing it here than thinking that you'll take notes. I believe if it's the first time, you will again need more help than when you're trying it here. And yes, so where I stopped that I wanted us to, I don't know how many are moving on the same pace with me now, but I'm going to add the document that we shall be working with. Yes, so when you want to add document, like I said last time, we go to add documents, then it will open where our documents are, then I'll just search. I think I kept them here. Then I will add all the transcripts. I'm loading the transcripts. Yes, my 4 transcripts have been added. And colleagues, as you're seeing on the interface, and this is to help those who have just joined, we have our panel on the interface. We have this panel on the left that has demo series. This is the name of the study. If it's the study tool, you put there. And then, of course, we have the documents. This shows how many documents you uploaded or you loaded. Then we have codes. When we start coding, you will see the number of the codes that we have. Then we have memo networks and documents groups, etc. So after uploading or loading our documents, we are going to open the document file. Then yes, you see that we now have 4 documents in the interface. Now, again, last time, as I said, you could have done a study where you had more than 4, 5 categories. When I say categories, I mean you had maybe key formats, interviews, or you had in-depth interviews and focus group discussions. So if you want to categorize, and I'm going to give an example, like just to help the team that have just joined us. If you want to categorize the style between the key format and the idea, it's what you do. before you start coding anyway, you go to add new. I think you're seeing my cursor where it is. Then you click on add new. Then it will ask what new thing do you want to add. Do you want to import file, import folder content, text, transcript? Then what we want here, we want to categorize our groups. Then you will go to groups. For instance, if we have like 4 documents, and the two are for FGDs, then you will say you categorize those ones for FGDs to main focus group discussions. Then you will create. And this is an example. Then after creating, you will select, for instance, if I say KI04 and 03 are the one for FGDs, what you do, you will press Control, long hold Control, then you click on the two. After, carry them and take it to the new document to create. Then you will see that the first group has two FGDs. Again, we can create the second group of KIIs. This is a key format interviews. Then we shall just name it KIIs. After naming create, again, we could carry, let's say maybe the remaining two. Let's uncheck, then we check the remaining two and carry those two here. So yes, I think now you see this will be carried before, but it's fine because we are going to deal with the KIIs. Yes, so after now allow me to open the first document and we see how we are going to code. I hope I first want to know how many are here or how many have managed to load or upload their transcripts. I don't want to move alone. Ugo, can you confirm?
Yes.
Do we have some members who are following, practically?
Do we have anyone that has issues with that hasn't gotten to where we are now? Please just raise your hand.
All right. I think that's fine. They will raise their hand if there's an issue. I agree. So I'm going to open my first transcript and I will talk through it. One is that you are saying the naming again to make what we call writing easier for any work or any transcript when you're reporting. Of course, we expect you to tell us what are you reporting. If it's came from an interview, then from where and who. So this was the first key format interview was from the health worker in a place called Oputa-Uzoukwu in Uganda. Again, this is mainly for the training. It's not this is an edited transcript. We remove the key things that are other things that are private. So this is made because of the training. So what you do, the naming of your interviews matter and also simplify when you are reporting. I'm assuming you have 20 key format interviews and you want to report and you didn't number. How are you going to name? So that's why we name them. Like for instance, this is the naming format, key format interview one from health worker and Mutukula. So before we start doing anything, I'm sure that we know before that sometime we sit down when you're going to study, then we come up with our objectives. So after doing the interview, our objectives guides us so much in doing analysis, and also basing on that, we have types of analysis or coding. One is called the inductive coding. Now, when I say inductive coding, here codes emerge from the data itself during analysis. You just upload like we have uploaded, then you start reading through as you code. That is the inductive coding. We have what we call deductive coding. Deductive coding means you already predetermined or you already developed the codes before or in the early stage before that analysis. That means mainly you could have come up, sat down, you develop the codes according to your objectives. For this case, I'll give an example. The study was on section productive health, but mainly on barriers. So maybe you came up with codes like barriers to SRH. I mean, that's already predetermined. You're going to do mainly look for what you already, the codes you already wanted to get. However, we also have what we call the hybrid approach. This means using both the inductive and deductive. So this one, you start with the deductive codes, the one that you already define, mainly following your objectives, following research papers you've read, etc. Then after, when you start coding, you keep on adding the new codes according to new issues that are emerging. And for me, this is the best approach of how mixing both. Of course, your objectives help you so much, but as you're doing the work, there's a lot in one interview. There are a lot of new things that come up. So that's what we call the hybrid approach. Beyond the hybrid, inductive and deductive, we also have what we call in vivo coding, or AtlasTI call it code in vivo. Code in vivo means you create codes using participants' exact words, as we shall see in the demonstration. Then we also have what we call quick coding. This one you use the codes that are already existing within what you are coding. So with that little background, allow me to start or to take you through the coding process, the manual. Of course, we are not going to do the coding of the entire or overall transcript. We are going to do briefly, then we shall transition to the AI coding to see, and then after we shall compare, does it really bring out the things that we want or not? Again, Hugo, I want to ask, is the team, do you have someone with an issue up to here? Because when we start, I want us to move on the same pace. Do you have some people who are both serving to where I am? Maybe
Not,
by the show of hands.
I just have a few who may have joined in late, so they are asking for the site to download. So if anyone hasn't gotten to this point, please you can put up your message on the chat box and we'll attend to it. Thank you. So Lodrick, you can carry on, please.
All right, Hugo, thank you so much. So I'm going to, of course, we already have one transcript open. And like I said, before you start coding, I have an assumption that you read the transcript at least once or twice. You've read the objectives of the study, or you know what the study is about. Then from there, you have a clear basis or a foundation of where you're going to start from. So for this case, like I said, the study was on assessing the barriers that hinder young people with disabilities to access sexual and productive health services in Uganda, but the place called Oputa-Uzoukwu. Yes, so of course you are seeing LOMN. The LO means the name of the interviewer, and MN the interviewee, or the LO is the interviewer, then MN the key format that we interviewed. And the first question, which you all say, was, of course, when you're interviewing, it's just an interaction. So the first question someone was asking, said, okay, maybe you as a healthcare provider, what kind of training do you need that can make you fit in the needs of these young people with disabilities, which kind of training do you need? That was the question. And the respondent or the key format said, for me, the training I need more is on gender-based violence because these people experience problems in this facility like raping or defiling them. Well, so when you read just this statement, and you know what we were discussing about, I think you could come up with something you feel like we could start coding. Yes, of course, the study was on barriers again, or access to facilitators. So for me, I think this is also part of the recommendations for what's needed. And therefore, to code this, what I do, I highlight the whole response. Why do we highlight the whole response? So that you can have a certain quotation. Highlighting this, the part that I'm highlighting, we call it a quotation. Now, in one quotation, you could have even more than three, four, five themes or codes, and this will help you as you code. When you do during the report writing, you just sort what you want. So what I do, I highlight the whole quotation, then I do right click. So I think you've seen the small dialog window there brought. That's apply codes, code in vivo. I think quick coding is supposed to be active. I'll find out why it's not active. Then you have create free quotation, create link, and up to code. So what we want to do here is that we want to apply code. So I will quickly check yes. So when I say apply code, and I see, like I said, we want to have the first one where someone said, yeah, for the training, I need more is on gender-based violence because these people express problems in this facet like raping and defiling. So for me, one of um, the recommendation I will give, and again, I will write a recommendation. I could even just write recommend, but I just want to fix this. Um, I want to be clear and write a recommendation. After writing recommendation, I will add a colon. I will add a simple colon. Sorry. Okay. Um, just a second. I'm just checking something here, then we'll proceed. Oh, guys, I'm checking on my keyboard. Please confirm how many people are where we are.
Please, if you're having any issues, please can you raise your virtual hands? Or you are yet to get to this point? We would like to address the issues while we are waiting. Thank you.
Yes, okay, just give me 1 second. Since I'm using a new computer, since the keyboard are interchanged. Yes, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click. Like I said, I'll write this recommendation. Then I'll add the column. Sorry for that. Um, yes, it's back. Let me just check here slowly. Yes, we said we right click, then we press add colon. This is recommendation. Then we add a colon. So the first thing for me, I see as a recommendation, I will say training on GBV, right? Right? Then what I do, I press enter. That will be the first code applied. Then the other code that I could be saying, like the person said, for me, the training I need more is on gender-based violence because these people experience problems in this facility, like raping, defiling them, and yes, I think the other problem we could see on access to barriers. Now again, I'll right click, I'll again highlight the whole thing. After highlighting, I'll right click, then I will apply. I will call the new code as I'll call it access barriers. Access barriers. Then I'll add a colon. Then I'll say rep. I'll enter. I think for me here, what I wanted the team to know is just to know how do we apply codes, right? Are we following?
Yes.
Oh, yes. How do you apply codes? When do you apply codes? And so if I wanted to do in vivo, or what you call in vivo coding, and I'm not going to take your my time because I know this we did last time. I just wanted to repeat this for the team to check those ones who are doing. If I wanted to do in vivo coding, I'll highlight, then right click. Let me just highlight, right click, then I'll say code in vivo. And when I say code in vivo, you realize that it codes the entire, it takes the entire quotation. Why? That most times we get to have we get to have some of the key things that people will tell us, and we don't want to change their voices. Sometimes it could be maybe a long name and just want to maintain it, then you'll keep it the way it is to make sure that at least, yes, people have, when you're reporting, you report exactly the way someone reported. Of course, before I proceed, I just want to find out if we have anyone with an issue on how to apply the code. If there's no one, I think the main thing here was to just show how to apply the course to the new members. Then we shall straightly go to, of course, we can apply to the next one. Then from there we go to what to do the AI coding course. That's where much work is. Once we just know how to apply the code. Do we have any issue as per where we are? Yes, I think the silence means no. All right. So we go to the second line. Well, the interviewer said, okay, so what are the key challenges that these people with disability experience when accessing sexual reproductive health services and information during COVID-19 lockdown? And the person said, well, I talked about distance when coming from home to here. It was very, very difficult because border borders couldn't work to bring them, and they can't move along a distance. Yes, I think, again, when you look at this, the barriers come out clearly. When to those ones who doesn't really acknowledge border borders remain motorcyclists, So I'm going again to apply the code. Since I'm having issues with the keyboard, I'm going to use the inbuilt screen, keyboard. So I'm going to highlight again, a right click, then you will see apply code. Now, when we say I want apply quick code, you will see that we have quick coding. Like I said, that means you're applying a code that's already in existence. But for now, let's first apply new codes. When you read that slide, it shows we have access barriers or barriers to access. I will say again, access barriers. Since we have access barriers here, I'll check it. Then I will delete where we have rep. Then I think you've all seen that the access barrier we see here is long distance, right? So I'll type long distance. You could space, but of course, mainly why we don't always write a long line. So you don't just write long distance, then enter, right? I think you're saying that. Now, the other thing was said it was very difficult because border borders couldn't walk during then, and they can't move long distances. Now, if you want to apply the what we call quick code, you will do the same thing. You will just right click, of course, you just highlight, right click, then do quick coding. So now, quick coding will bring one of the key things that you had, which was the could code. Of course, you select one of the, let me just repeat this. It's going to code the long distance bar that you had. If you also have another bar that you already put in place and you want to add, then you just tap on it, then you code here again. When we do in vivo coding, for it will code the entire thing as a quotation. This is what called code in vivo. It brings the entire thing as a quotation. When you check it, you see that the way the line is, that's how it codes. Briefly, I just wanted the team to know how, yes, Ugo, I think I'm seeing that.
Yes, we have just one question from I think it's not a question, but Martha says that she's trying to rename the codes and it keeps saying the name is already used. Please select a unique name. Can you help with this?
To rename the new code,
Yes, I think I'm wondering if she had joined before and already had a name for the code. So she said she's trying to rename and it keeps saying the name is already used. Please select a unique name.
okay,
So
I'm going to give Martha an example here. Martha, for instance, you saw last time, I want to repeat, for instance, the existing code called rep, right? So I will highlight, for instance, here, if the same thing happens, I think that's not an issue in Atlas. I say apply codes, then I will just say rep, access, maybe access. You see this? I will tap on that, then I will enter. I'm just giving an example. Try to do that and see if it fails. You see, when you enter, you'll see here access by as rep. Martha, are you I hope if you still have a question, then you'll just raise up a hand or text. Again, like I said today, this was mainly just to show how we do manual coding, how to apply the theme, then add the code after colon, then yeah, we proceed. Right? One of the things we are following here with just the main the objectives. So I want us to, of course, we cannot do the overall coding of this now. So I want us to do what we call what we call AI assisted coding, and after we shall compare overall how the things come up, Then I think after that we shall see the interface overall. Then maybe some people will be having questions again. So allow me to go to um, AI coding. So I'm going to close this for now. Then as you're saying, I'll go to search on the menu app. I'll go to search and code. When I go to search and code, you see the following: text, search, regular, name entity, and up to conversation AI. Ugo, I'll request that those ones who missed how this one work, I think we had them in session 2. You will share with them the recordings of the session 2 so that they will gain from there.
Okay.
We shall go direct to AI coding. Now, what AI coding means, when you type AI coding, it means that you want to code without giving it any instruction. So it will record, like you can get your document or whatever, then you take to ChatGPT. Then it gives you, answers that you want, of course. For this, it will just code everything. For instance, I'm going to highlight here. Then I'll just show you what happens. Let me just minimize this. So you see when you highlight all, you could check from here on the document, or you could check under groups. Now, under groups, it helps if you've already grouped your work. For instance, FGDs, and if you did the work you want to do AI codings under FGDs, then it will only do AI coding for that. If it's under FGDs, I mean KIIs, it will do AI coding for KIIs. So for this case, we could select, okay, let's select for KIIs since we already have the 4 documents here. So what you do, you just go to start. However, this you can only do AI coding when you have a licensed package or when your software is licensed. So what you do, you're going to do AI coding and start. It will bring the following after reading the content, which will not take much time. It takes not more than 2 minutes, as far as I know, to just estimate, and of course, it will give you the duration that will be needed. Yes, now, when you see the interface, it shows analyzing 4 documents will take approximately 3 minutes. I think, and again, this depends on also your network. Now, because when you say start coding, to start coding, because we want to give instructions to what we wanted for of course, like I said, I prefer having both inductive and deductive coding. That means I prefer the hybrid mode. So I would like to feed it with objectives. Like I said, if you just say start coding, it will code everything. It will give you typically new themes, new things in the study, if you want just to start coding. Now, this is just to show you what happens here. Now, when you go to when you go to AI or intentional AI coding, what this one does is that you feed it with objectives of the study or research questions. After feeding it with objectives or research questions, it will come up with the themes. Because when you're reporting, we report according to the themes or objectives. So it's out of the objectives that we shall get our themes. So what intentional coding does is that it gets objectives, you feed it or you attach there, then it creates themes out of those objectives. Then after creating the themes, when you accept that those are the objectives you want, what it does is that it will also it will accept the time it needs. Then after, it will start coding, and we are going to do this practically. Of course, before you start, you are seeing AI summaries. AI summaries come after you've done the better is you should do it after having done your analysis. But of course, you can even do it before doing intentional coding. to give you the overall summary of the thing that I meant. Conversational AI, this is like you're doing, it's like ChatGPT, DeepSeek, etc. It's nothing with AI. So you ask a question and it will answer the questions you're asking. So for this case, allow me to do the intentional coding. Why I didn't do AI coding is that I want us, and the best here is intentional coding, because you're going to feed it with your objectives, then it will assess. You will see the codes that will come out. So let's do the intentional coding. Again, you cannot do intentional coding when you don't have a licensed account or your software is not licensed, because it has limitations. Even when you try out, it will tell you because it's not licensed, you are unable to. Allow me to click or check. Of course, when you want to do intentional coding, you tap on it, then it will bring this dialog window where you will see on the left hand show select documents. Then in the center, we have document group. Again, on the right, we have the selected documents. Since we categorized and all our documents are under KIIs, so I'm going to select documents. I'm sure you are seeing down, we have where we, of course, under select documents, you will see the number. If you have 10, 20, you'll always see them here. Once you're done with that, you'll go to next. Now, this is what I was talking about. Of course, this kept the previous work that was done. Now, what we do, we are going to remove the question that we were being asked last time. Then we shall come up with new questions. Okay, I will just set new objectives here. Objective 1, I'll just summarize what. Okay, I'll briefly just say barriers to SRH access. 2, I will say facilitators to SRH access. 3, maybe we could look at recommendations. We could just test that. Of course, you could have many objectives. You could have 5, 4, 3, whatever. Then you'll come up with those objectives. But of course, when you start coding, this is like a hybrid one. You will also get more other codes and things that will come up. So I'm going to say next, and you will see it will change. It will bring what even it suggests. It will also suggest other themes. So it will, here you've seen the new dialog window that has come shows the text content of the selected documents will be uploaded to OpenAI for processing. Of course, you agree. When you uncheck this, it will be you reject it. Then you check it, you agree, then you go to next. And we give it to know. Now you've seen not more than 5 minutes. You see the questions now. On the right, on the left, you have questions. Then you have code category. The question is, what are the barriers to sexual reproductive access? That's the first question. This side, barriers to access. 2, we have what facilitators enhance access to SRH. Then this side, we have facilitated access. And what are the recommendations? Then this side, we have improved recommendations. Now, if you don't want to improve the recommendation, you can just edit and remain with the recommendations. If you want, you could add questions. If you feel that's okay, then you proceed. Allow me to say start coding as we proceed now. It will not take much time, though my screen is dark mode, but I'm sure you're seeing what's happening. I started coding, and again, this depends on your network and also the weight, how heavy the document is. If you have 100 documents with maybe each document having more than 10 pages, is different with when you have 10 documents and each document or each transcript has like 3, 4 documents. 3, 4 pages. So the length of the transcripts determines the speed. Also, your internet determines the speed. So as we wait for our transcript to come up or our coding to be done, I think, Ugo, if there's anyone who has a question or anything, we could be answering. This will not take much time. Yes, Ugo? Ugo, if we have any one of the question, so, I think you've seen the new dialogue that we are done with our coding using mutational coding. Now, before even we proceed, you could see the list. When you look at the new dialog window that has come, it shows you the list, it shows you the graphs. If you want graphs, you see. If you want the more details, but of course, we are going to go to the list. So we are going to accept or apply. If you cancel, you would have canceled everything. So what we are going to do, we are going to apply what has been done. Now, the beauty with AtlasTI is that it saves automatically. So once you say that, yeah, we've already saved. I think you can now see our new dialog window showing discover yours. We have 4 documents. The newly created codes are 447. Newly created quotations are 193. Then, of course, here in the center, we have top applied codes. You are seeing barriers to access. Then we have top co-created codes, co-current codes. Then we have top coded documents. So what we do shall say done. Now, previously I said, we are done with that. So as I previously said, that when you're done with coding, you will see what we've done. So when you check codes, now you can see that we have 7 codes. But of course, we could delete even this part if you want. But now, we have 7 codes here. The first one being access to barriers, first status access, and then of course, recommendation. Now, why we have 2 recommendations that you remember we had started manual coding. And under our manual coding, we had one that had training on GBV. I'm sure you remember that. Then now for intentional coding, we have the following recommendations, and there are 52 recommendations and intentional coding. We are going to check them. Then when you look at barriers to access, we have 157 barriers that has been identified or coded. Then we had started our manual coding that had access barriers, which we of course we did twice, and you could see that. So now, after doing that, we of course I'm going to open the document so that you see what has been coded. I think you can now see that the entire document has been coded. Now, what happens that for AI coding or intentional coding, it codes everything. What do I mean by everything? It even codes the questions from the interviewer. For instance, when you check this box, you realize that all the first dialogue, or the dialogue that, it has the one that has first aid barriers, all of it, the whole of it is for it's kind of the entire quotation for the interviewer. So what do? We delete that. After the intentional coding, you do cleaning of your data. And the first things you start with cleaning, of course, is to uncheck or to delete all the rest, the code for that has been attached to the questions, because I don't expect to code my question again. So how do you delete? You just check, right click, then you will see delete from project. Using that, then you delete that. it will go off. Do you have a question there? Because if you're not careful, you can delete everything. Again, we want to go now to the next one. This is now what we were coding last time. When you check on it, you could see now what we did. The first one, access barriers, is what is how I named it, the first one. Now, for AI coding, it named it as barriers. It's called barriers to access, but now since we are coding, it's named barriers access. So now you see gender-based violence. I think you're saying the difference that AI coding actually does just like you can code manually. Of course, it fastens your work. It enables you to finish what you're supposed to do on time. Ideally, if you had to code this document manually, you could take it more, even 2 days or even a whole day. But AI coding, you've seen, you've taken 3 minutes. Once you're done with that, what you do, you start editing. Now, we have a lot that has been done here by using AI coding. Of course, MN, when you see this one, we are the one who applied, and it was for code in vivo. Of course, it was done purposely just to show you how to code in vivo, but it was done manually. When you check recommendations, we have now training, gender awareness, then you have training on GBV. These are under recommendation. Of course, training on GBV is the one that we did manually. For AI coding, it brought training and gender awareness. I think you could see that there's no big difference. AI coding brings more of the codes that if you disagree with one, you remove. If you agree, you maintain. Um, I think the main thing is now to start cleaning. You could go, if you prefer, you could go question per question as you remove. For instance, if you check here on access, balance access distance, then treatment refill, you realize that it's answering what the question was. So they only have the challenge of distance. And the person said no, even getting refilled. So how do you do when you want to reduce if they captured the quotation of even the quotation that was captured includes the questions, when they are actually when it's actually responding to the response, what you do, you tap on the quotation dialog or the dialog here, then you go to reduce. You reduce this to what the question, the response itself. I think you are seeing what I'm doing. So I've reduced. So when you check here, indeed, you realize that the quotation barrier or the barrier on treatment refill is this one. Then also the distance, this one captured. So we are going to remove the distance because it had captured the question. How do you remove that? We are going just to tap on that, the exact barrier that you want to remove, or the exact code that you want to remove. You right click. You see, then you say remove the coding. You've seen that? Delete from project to deleting the whole thing, but if it's certain barrier, just remove it from the project. Do you have a question from on that? It might look simple, but I just wanted to see if we are all following. I don't know if we have Ugo here.
I have a question. Someone wanted to know if you're making it into a word cloud.
If I'm doing what?
If we will have the word cloud, if we're able to see the word cloud that this code generated.
Yes, we shall.
Okay, then
Yeah.
Evaristo, your hand is raised. Can you go on with your question now? Thank you.
Yes, please. There's a question coming up.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. I wanted to get a clarity on I think I missed it on whereby AI coding also extracts the research question posed. So I never followed nicely on how do you remove a research question when it has coded it. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Evans. Again, you remember what we did? Let me see if you can go back. This is what we did under AI coding. We came, of course, we shall not code again because we already said. So we checked this. We proceeded. Now we had our questions. These are the questions we had. It maintains what happened. We proceeded with this. So we checked, said yes. Let's proceed. Now I think Evans, this is where you're asking, right? When you want to remove a question that, if it has broad questions that you don't want, you're going to edit the question. You see, if I can delete the whole thing, and you've seen I've deleted it. If you want, you add. You just highlight the whole thing and delete. You can edit questions or even code category. And it's just as simple as that. Or you add as many questions as you want. Then, or you object, then everything will be done. Yes, thank you. I think that's it. I think, colleagues, you can now see the difference for manual coding and the AI coding. Of course, the similarities that you might realize almost what you're coding and what AI coding will bring will be the same. And even AI coding will bring more, more themes and codes than what you would have thought. Now, what this helps you with is that you to even broaden what you're thinking, and actually you, of course, through the process of reviewing or removing what's not needed, you will come up with a very, very clean transcript, and of course, code a transcript and a very clean code book. Of course, for me, I can download the code book and etc. So I think for me, comparing with those days when everything was done manually, this is one of the best things I like about AtlasTI, that this intentional coding helps you a lot. Nowadays, we no longer spend 2 nights or spend a whole month just doing the coding, where those days people could sit in office, where they have papers every corner. So I think now everything is summarized as simple as that. Then what next is that you once you're done with the cleaning of what you want, the whole document, you see to record everything. This was just the one document. When you close this document, you go to, let me check the last one. You see that everything is coded. All documents are coded. So when you want, to edit, you just go through document by document, edit everything. However, you can proceed the way it is. You don't edit. What happens? You go to your, of course, when you're writing, you would select quotations, but of course, when you select quotation, you cannot select the questions. That is if you don't have time. But if you really have time, you edit, and also the advantage of editing and removing what the question and what you don't want, that when you're coming up with, of course, Hugo was asking on the, Hugo, I think your question, I'm just checking it here, was on the what document, or the what, it's called the cloud. That's where your question is. So it will bring all the key things that you have. I think we shall try to check also on the cloud and see how it works. So I think for me, this is the best approach. Now, if I'm doing analysis, I find it easy to use intentional coding, because it's just a matter of adding there my research questions or objectives. Then it will give me the category or code categories. Then I'll say if I want, or if I want to add on something. Now, Hugo, your question was on what frequencies, right? So what you do, you just come here. The good thing is on almost the same interface. So I'll just tap on that. So here, what do I want? I want the cloud. Now, before the cloud, you could say we are going to play around with this. We have the scope cloud list and trim up. So I'm going to select all. Just to answer Hugo's question. We have this is now in a tabular format. We have the statistics of each code. If you see paper, whatever, each word. So you see this now, not code, but each word. We have statistics of each word here, how many times it's appearing, and which document. A case in point, if you say people, the length of people is 6, and the number is appearing is 146, the percentage 3.4. How it's appearing in under KII01, it appears 32 times. It is percentage for KII01, it's 39. You see that gives statistics for each one per document. So you could actually come up with even, some statistics here. Now, I will now go to cloud. I think, Ugo, that was your question. It's just a matter of tapping on now. When you tap on cloud, this is what come up. I'm sure you've seen this in a number of reports, or even cover pages for some reports or hard covers. So you see now what people want it appears 47 times, and so that's the cloud that Ugo was asking. Do you have any question?
Yes, Olufemi, Professor Olufemi, please go on with your question.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. I want to find out, when you indicated the list, there were some words like, okay, NP, LO, at least some words that are not relevant. And they definitely will affect the cloud at the end of the day. So at what point do you have to clean off those words, or they are not necessary? Well, some of them are not words, maybe just 2 letters, LO, for instance, AJ, for instance, NP. Yes, like that one.
Yes, again, let me go to the cloud. When you check cloud, right? I think when of course you could look up here. We have exclude. What do we exclude? Then it will bring. If you want all words, let's check all words. And you see, if you want all words, what happens? It will bring all the ones you send the GNR or whatever. However, when you select exclude, see the difference. What happens? It brings words that make sense in the transcript or in the whole thing. For instance, if you say all the words that we've been having, for instance, ask, done, you are not seeing the other one of LO, right? So what you do, you come here on exclude, then if you want all everything that's happening there, then it will bring the all course. I think this is the all you're asking, right? It will exclude them. If you select all words, it will bring all. Of course, when you say exclude, it will exclude some of those funny words like you were saying. It doesn't affect here. So what you come here, you select exclude, and it will just checking. Then we also have this only does that. Then exclude. You see exclude, the difference between the exclude. It at least maintains key thing that you want. I think it's delayed to load. I hope my network is not disturbing. Yeah, but ideally that's what you do. Of course, I've never tried to do the editing of some of the words, but like I said, these are things that you play around with. I'm sure if you want to, I could try. I wanted to say, yes. Are you seeing now? Though I've never done it, but what you do, you tap on that word that you want to remove, tap on it, right click. Sorry. Let me go back. I tapped twice. Yeah. I'm going to go back. I'll right click. You see, hide from list. I'll hide it. Are you seeing that? When I'll go to NP, tap on it, right click, then I'll hide it. This means it will not affect your tree map or the cloud or whatever you want. Yeah, so it will be removed or hidden. Yes, Ugo, I don't know if the team has more questions, or you could open up the floor because I'm saying we have few minutes to go. But again, before we have more questions, I would like to do simply what we call summaries. I hope colleagues you're following. Let me first cancel this. So I'll go to AI summaries. What AI summaries do, I'll just go straight to the key documents, then I'll go to summarize. Now here, I will get a report, a simple report of what's happening. As you're going to see, let's say summarize, let's see the output so that we appreciate what AI summaries does. I just hope it doesn't take long. But as you are waiting for it, I think it will not take long. Ideally, they don't always take more than 2 minutes as per my experience. So, Ogo, I think we could be having questions as we wait for this.
All right. Thank you so much, Lodri. I've learned a lot today, better than the other days. And I believe everyone else here who has joined has also gained a lot. It's just one question from Ashiraf. And another question, though, Ashiraf is asking, does Atlas do the same role as InVivo? If not, what are their differences? How do they differ from each other? And another question is, I know you wanted to address that. Said, how much is the paid version of Atlas.ti? So, it's all these questions are from Ashiraf. So, Lodrick, if you can help with that. Difference between InVivo and Atlas, and then the paid option for Atlas, how much it costs.
All right, thank you so much, Ugo. Yes, I think I'll begin. Let me just begin with the first question. The difference between Atlas and InVivo ones that the user interface. Atlas is so simplified that it's not that complex. The complexity is actually what makes most people like it. Of course, I know NVIDIA also have its TI, but mainly it's on the simplicity of the use, in terms of the interface. The other thing is on the pricing. NVIDIA is quite expensive, as far as I know. This is something that you could also check after here. But of course, these are different, software. The beauty and the advantage for this that they all fall under one management, bought by the same company. That's sort of the numero. I'm sure you know that AtlasTI and Vivo and others, they are under one space now. It's like having, being in the same family. Then you just select some will say, I prefer talking to my dad, and down I prefer talking to my mom. But ideally, it's on the pricing and also the interface. Personally, of course, I prefer Atlas because of its simplicity and of course, even when you're applying codes, there are some differences. I mean, but of course, the other thing remains the same. On the question of license, we do have, and this is if you're a student, the best way I guide is to get a student license. We have one for 1 year, which is currently at 107 US dollars. That's for 1 year student license. You get everything, both the web version and also the desktop version, which I'm using. You get everything with all whatever you're seeing here, the AI.
Sorry, Lodrick, you're muted. You're mute.
Sorry,
We
Ogo,
can't hear
I
you.
think I know you're not hearing because I was using two gadgets. So now I'm back on one. So what I was saying is that the other option, of course, I said the first one is for 1 year, which is for 107 US dollars. Then the second one I would recommend is a 6-month license. And this is practically works better when you have a certain project and that maybe at that moment you are not in position to pay 1 year. Then you could do the one for 6 months, that is $55 US. I think we also have the other one for the web, but of course it's lower than these two. But of course, I would recommend these two of 1 year student license, then the one for 6 months. Also, we have the institutional licenses. But of course, when you want to know all the in-depth prices per each and the institution, they also give the number of people you could have, then you could use the institutional license. But if you're an individual, yes, and you're a student, I recommend the student license. I don't know if I've answered the question, but I think that's it. Do we still have questions, or I first finish the AI summary here, then we have more questions.
Can we take the question from Luca? It
Ogo?
says, can Atlas.ti be used in constructive grounded theory study, whose aim is to generate a new
Yes,
theory?
Ogo, I don't know if you are still here, but colleagues, I think when you look at the AI summary that we did for all the documents, you could see what it has brought. It shows the interviews conducted with various stakeholders in Mutukula region reveals significant challenges faced by young people with disability. And of course, it gives the challenges. One, this is like a simple summary of the report. And I think at least you could appreciate that one is showing access to services, and it says young people with disabilities struggle to access medical services, including nutrition and health care during the lockdown due to movement restriction and lack of transportation. You can imagine this. Now, for me, when I'm writing, I could just I could get the same, maybe this now access to services becomes sort of my theme, then I mean, or the code, then I will explain that theme broadly. Then what I will do, I will attach the quotation talking to that. I think for me, that's why I even love the summaries, that you could also do summaries per page, per document. When you go to, of course, that was under challenges. When you go to recommendation, it says, education and awareness, there's a pressing need for education programs aimed at both parents and young people with disabilities concerning sexual and reproductive health, tailored programs, etc. So I think you can now appreciate that whatever, after doing the coding and everything, you can now start getting those summaries. I'm going to save this. So what happens when you save is that once you save, of course, it's supposed to go under memos. Let me just confirm, yes. When you save that, you want to retrieve it later to read, you go to memo, then you'll just read your memo here as AI summary 1. This is what will come out. Every time you do a summary and you save, it will be saved under memos. Colleagues, I hope if you have a question, please. But before we approach the or before we say now we're done, before more question come in, just 2 minutes, I will just want to show you how conversation AI works. So I will again select go to select conversation AI, select it, then go to KIIs. I will start to chat. So now when I start to chat, it will first read. I think you could now see, I'm sure all of us here will know what ChatGPT is. We've used it, or DeepThink, whatever, or other AIs. So now it will welcome you. Hello, I'm a conversation AI designed to let you chat with your documents. Now it's reading the documents. It might somehow take minutes to read the documents, but after taking finalizing that, you could ask any question that you want. Then it will answer, just like ChatGPT does. So now it shows ready. And I will ask here, what were the key barriers? And you will see how it will answer. I hope, colleagues, you are following. Let's see how it answers. Ideally, All right. I don't know what's happening, but it's okay. It's laying. Let me see. Give me a list of various the quotations. Yeah, it's supposed to provide us with the data, and even you could, if it does what's supposed to do, then you could even have you tap on a quotation, then yeah, it answers it. You get that quotation mainly of the exact value. So Ugo, as we are waiting for this, I hope it doesn't fail. But as we are waiting for it, please, I'll request so that you bring anyone who has a question. So yes, I think colleagues, you can now see it has brought the list of barriers. Transportation challenge, for instance, say during the lockdown, because there was challenge of transportation, many of them didn't or don't work. What you do, if you want to get that quotation, you'll come here. See the quotation. Are you seeing this? Or you'll go here on one, quotation one, then you tap on that quotation. I think, colleagues, you can see how easy this is. It will even help you to get quotations in first hand or in real time, because you will just go on that, then you tap on it, then you get that quotation, then you attach where you want. And unless you have a question, I don't know if Ogo is still here.
I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I'm here.
colleagues,
Yes.
do you have a question? We have the recording of the first session, which I believe Ogo will share with the team. And after sharing,
Yes, Lodri, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I'm here. We had a question from Luca, but I think Janet addressed it. But you can also add something to it. He was asking if you can use Atlas.ti for constructive grounded theory studies. Maybe the one that you're trying to generate new theories for.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I think that's it. Professor Lufemi was saying that you should be more specific with regards to the type of study that you're using the grounded theory for. Okay. So I think we've addressed that question. None for now, unless we have any more questions. Thank you.
All right, Ugo, and thank you so much. If we don't have any other question, I would request also that we stop here. Maybe if there are more questions, the team will ask the team will ask in the group. But of course, I would request there may be those ones who are new, Ugo, you share with them. I don't know if they shared theirs email, share with them the previous recording. It will even show them how to export. You remember we covered that, how to export, and also after exporting, you could even close AtlasTI, then you start working within the Excel version. I'm sure I remember we covered that. So please, if there are no questions, I would request to stop here, and I will say we've kept time. Thank you.
Yes, we actually did. Thank you so much. I believe we just take the question from Ginika. Ginika had a question when we started. So please, Ginika, if you're here, please go on with your question. And thank you so much to everyone who has joined in. I think we made it right on time, but we'll just give about 5 minutes for anyone that has a question or comment and then Lordrick, you can stop sharing now your screen. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Ugo.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. I can see Dr. Charles is here. Dr. Charles was there for the last section for some of the Atlas.ti events we had last year. So thank you, everyone. So Ginika, we are waiting. If you're still here, please go on with the question you had. You mentioned that you wanted to ask a question at the end of the section. So we are waiting. Yes, Ginika, you can unmute yourself. working? Yes.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for the expository explanation. I even understand better now. So I just want to. It's not like I'm dragging things back, but I do qualitative studies as well. But sometimes I get confused with that deductive and deductive and in deductive. So for instance, now from the objectives, I've already coded it from the objectives or the research questions. That one's like a broad code. Then probably the themes will start coming, probably when you see a quotes and everything, you now is it when you are giving it another, are you giving it another coding, or is it called themes? Because that's the way. Another thing I want to ask again is, what's the meaning of intercoder? I've been reading some qualitative studies. I've been seeing this intercoder, like there is a deeper process to this qualitative that we with most people don't know about it. I've been seeing it in journals. So it's like it's a deeper systematic process. This person will read this one bring out a code, there'll be a broader code, they will now streamline the code. So I would really love if that can be explained. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you. Thank you. Okay.
yes, Ugo, please.
Yes. I would also like Dr. Charles to throw more light on the question after Lord Ricky must have concluded. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. I don't know if I forgot the name, but yes, you said you get confused between the deductive coding and inductive coding, right? And I would like to say that, as I said earlier, the option you gave, of course, you said that you always have your objectives. You had your objective that are already defined. Yes, and like I said, for me, it's always good to first have the objectives, and of course, that's the deductive approach, where you first define your codes earlier, or the themes earlier. Of course, again, there's something I've seen between the confusing is between the theme and the code. Different package. You see, when you look at NVivo and Atlas, NVivo have themes. Even of course, Atlas, you see mainly everywhere checking, you have codes. Now, a theme, a code belongs under theme. When you say barriers to access of SRH services, that's a big theme. You want to explain what are those barriers. Now, under those barriers, if you say long distance, that's a theme that you are going to explain. What about long distance? I mean, that's a code. Remember, theme is barriers to access. Now, a code under that is long distance. So what about long distance? You get that? That's a code. I think that explains the confusion between the theme and the code. Then, the other question, of course, I was still explaining deductive and inductive. I said deductive is predetermined. You start your analysis following your objectives. You already define your themes or your code. Now, for inductive, as you are reading through, of course, inductive, you just have a transcript like we loaded, then you start coding while you read as you code. You read, that means you didn't have a plan of the code book. You're just reading as you code. That is the inductive approach. Now, the best way, like I explained, is to have both. And that's the same thing even you saw when we were doing the AI coding. I gave some of the objectives. You get better results. You have your guiding objectives, but of course, as you are coding, there are always the new things that will come up. Then that will call it the hybrid approach. You combine both the inductive and the deductive coding. I don't know, what was the other question? Did I hear the other question, or if Dr. Charles had it, he could answer. If just to, yeah.
The question was on intercoding. Ginika, am I right? Hello, Ginika. The question was on yes.
Yes, I've been studying through some qualitative studies, and I've been seeing this intercoder. There is a main code book. I don't know. There are some processes that I think is beyond this deductive and inductive. Is there any other processes that we are not aware of? This intercoder, yes, intercoder reliability, yes. So I don't know. Can you explain, sir? Thank you.
You said any other processing? Yes. Okay. Thank you. For me, as far as I know, when you talk about the intercoder, it's always a measure of consistency and agreement between the two or more codes, right? You have two or you have many codes, and you want mainly to measure on your consistency to see if you are being consistent while you are coding. So that's mainly what it's always referred as the intercoder. And unless if Doctor, like you said, we have a lot of terms when it comes to qualitative data analysis, and that's even some packages have some things. So, but as far as I know, it's always on to assess the measure of consistency between the two or more codes that you're having. Yes, but mainly for reliability and etc. Yeah, but of course, Dr. Charles could add more light on that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for the presentation. I'm always here enjoying, and it's always good to refresh. First of all, when it comes to intercoder reliability, sometimes when we are doing research, we might be more than one. You see, for instance, you might have the researcher, PI, or a team, and you are looking at the data at the same time. So intercoder reliability actually measures the consistency, as you clearly indicated, some kind of agreement and the reproducibility of data coding, especially performed by two or more independent researchers. It's one way of ensuring that the different code categories, the way you have categorized the data is actually similar, and also enhances rigor and the validity of the content analysis. That, when you look at this data, this is the best way you can interpret the data. And also when someone else looks at the same data, he is most likely to come up with a similar code. That's why it is called intercoder reliability. There is also sometimes what we call intracoder reliability. Intracoder is when you re-examine your codes as an individual to see whether you can still go deep into the analysis and make some slight adjustments. That is called intracoder reliability. The first question you asked whether you can use what was it? Was it deductive coding or inductive coding? Normally, of course, there are several ways of doing research. Normally, for instance, I don't know at what level you are doing your research, but if it is either at master's or PhD, sometimes we begin with the conceptual analysis, or we can begin with theoretical analysis. When you begin with the theories, you remember you are reviewing theories, and therefore you are getting concepts. And from the theories and the concepts, you can formulate hypotheses, okay? So when you have that kind of mind, you already have predetermined ideas that you want to go out to test and verify. And that's why it is called deductive. You want to deduce to see whether deductive is top down. Deductive coding is top down. It's that kind of structured approach where you are applying predetermined codes based on existing theories or frameworks. So you start by reviewing the theories. For instance, in this particular today's example was, I think, had some elements of abuse, some elements of, so you already have preconceived ideas, and you go out to see whether these ideas are actually a reality on ground. However, inductive coding or inductive reasoning is bottom up. You just go to the field with an open mind. Let me just go and find out what really happens. You don't fill your memory, you don't fill your brain with some kind of biased ideas. You just go out, explore, you derive themes directly from the raw data. Whereas with the deductive reasoning, you have some preconceived ideas. You have some, sometimes, for instance, from biological point of view, what kind of this that causes this kind of diseases, you already have some answers, okay? And you go out to test and see whether that is actually true. But in inductive coding, you are open. You are just open to anything that can happen in the field. You don't really go with some preconceived ideas or with some kind of bias. You are just there going to explore, and you derive the themes directly from the raw data. Or you want something that is new. You are just creating an open-ended kind of research environment. And in most cases, open and research environment is very interesting because that's when you can generate some new ideas you never thought about. And it's always good because you are open to anything that comes up. You don't review the data with that kind of biased mind, and you are trying to mechanically force things. You know that, for instance, what causes diarrhea is this. You go out and see, is it true that this is what is causing diarrhea, as the theory says? But with the inductive coding, you just go there with an open mind. Let me just go and see what is really taking place. And in most cases, it generates very interesting ideas, something that you really never thought about. And when you are presenting inductive report, it can actually surprise even the onlookers, and they praise you for coming up with very interesting ideas. But what is most important is, remember in research, if you discover that a frog or a snake has legs, what is most important is the evidence, okay? Don't simply tell people that, I went out to the field and I discovered that a snake actually has legs. The question is, how did you know? You see? So you must be in a position to verify, to provide evidence, sound evidence, okay? That is exploration. Have the pictures, have illustrations, have interviews, all these ones bring out evidence to substantiate, and it goes back to validity and the reliability, substantiate some of these things. I hope, Ogo, you wanted me to come in, and I hope that is that something that you expected? The one who asked the question?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yes. All right. Thank you so much for everyone who has joined up to this time. I hope you gained a lot today. I hope you learned a lot. I just wanted us to, I wanted to introduce our next section with Rising Scholars. Head Rising Scholars is organizing the research methodology and statistical analysis. Remember, this was TQRS from the Qualitative Research Series from Rising Scholars Network as well. So we have the next session with Professor Olufemi Adosepe. We'll be introducing research with quantitative data, introduction of different methods in quantitative data, which Dr. Professor Olufemi is here with us. So I've just put the link in the chat. You can join in for the section. It's coming up towards the end of March, and the 26th of March, sorry. So please, we'll also reshare the information about the section in the WhatsApp groups. We have different WhatsApp groups on Rising Scholars. Please check Rising Scholars for so many resources. If you've just joined or met this series for the first time, we have a lot to gain from the network. So please feel free to contact people like Dr. Charles, people like Professor Olufemi. Please, we love to share, we love to learn from each other. So thank you so much, Lordrick, for the time you've given us. And we learned every day. We like to share and give to all of us here. So please feel free, don't be shy. because as researchers, you cannot work in isolation. So thank you so much for all your time. And this is time for us to have a picture, for us to remember the event for today. So please, if you can turn on your camera at this time, we would love to have you in the picture. We usually share the picture in on the right on our LinkedIn page. Yes, so you see yourself, you see your friends, and then we get to celebrate or add one or two information that we have learned from today. So please feel free to share your video. Thank you. Okay, so yes, so once you can say cheese, some people don't like cheese, so I don't really say we should say cheese. So whatever you like to smile, you like to do anything fun, so please, 1, 2, go. Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah,
nice to hear you from you. Thank you.
thank you. So we have 2
Cheers.
pages. I'm doing the second page now. Yes. All right. Yes, Janet, I can see you. Thank you so much for that peace sign. Thank you to everyone. It's been a lovely and wonderful section, and thank you, Lodrick, for your time. Usually, Lodrick, I think I should call you Dr. Lodrick at this time. He's been offering us these times, usually on Fridays or on Thursdays, even Saturdays, and Dr. Charles as well. So thank you so much for everyone, because if you haven't joined, you will not be able to make the section. So thank you to everyone who have joined it. So it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and then bye. See you next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.